what's up Elder Scrolls Nation? Skullzi here. Super excited to be talking to you about this today. This is some pretty cool and interesting stuff. Sorry if my voice sounds a little messed up. I've been doing a lot of dragon shouts at the trees to try and slow down time on the trees, to get the trees to slow down because trees are always going so fucking fast. But anyway, this video regards my prediction on what I think Bethesda will show us at E3 2018 based on some unique research I've done. I've been doing a lot of thinking about E3 and Bethesda Game Studios, and I actually plan on attending E3 this year, so I Google and lurk around the internet every day for any scrap of information that I can find that could give me some kind of insight into just what Bethesda has planned for E3 this year, 2018. Now, I just want to mention really quick though, as I'm sure you know, Bethesda Softworks is really secretive about their current projects, especially the ones Bethesda Game Studios is working on. The only way we can ever get information that can be considered 100% confirmed, legit, and not a rumor is when Bethesda themselves finally announces and starts talking about a game. But there still can be plenty of other ways of getting pretty accurate information if you know where to go digging. And oh boy, I did some digging. You just gotta avoid all those stinky ass rumor corpses. But here is my promise to you guys, Elder Scrolls Nation. I'll keep my word that any information I report on and that I say I think may be accurate, I have put hours and hours of research into. And if I think something is bullshit, I will not hesitate to call out and destroy that shit. I've done this in videos in the past, and I'll continue doing so, because anybody who remembers the ancient days before Fallout 4 knows how common fake news was regarding the game back then, and how hard it was to deal with all that hype heartbreak. So going forward, keep in mind that I have your back, and I'll give you my word as the father and mentor of Elder Scrolls Nation that I will not mislead you with some clickbait, false-ass, rumor bullshit. If I think something's false, I'll say it. If I think it's true, I'll say it. If I don't know, I'll say I don't know. So, what does Bethesda have planned for E3 2018? Is it Elder Scrolls 6? Is Skyrim getting remastered for your toaster? Will whatever Starfield is get confirmed? Before we get into what I think Bethesda will show us at E3 2018, let's take a minute to look at Bethesda's past few E3 appearances so we can have a better understanding of their strategy and their previous patterns. Bethesda was there, but they were also boring. Skyrim was remastered for the 3rd or 4th or 5th or 111th fucking time or whatever, as Bethesda showcased Skyrim for the Nintendo Switch, which actually turned out better than I thought it would. They also showed Fallout 4 VR so you could experience in VR what it would be like to die of radiation poisoning or get eaten alive by a Deathclaw. Elder Scrolls Online also had its Morrowind expansion announced as well, and Bethesda Softworks also announced a few other things like Wolfenstein 2, but I won't get too much into those details regarding other Bethesda Softworks projects, as Bethesda Softworks is a publishing company and Bethesda Game Studios are who we are focusing on, the actual developers of Elder Scrolls, Fallout, and the supposed Starfield. Let's go back another year to E3 2016, another not so exciting year for Bethesda, at least in my opinion and mostly everyone else's. We got to listen to Bethesda tell us about how many people were playing Fallout Shelter, and the Fallout 4 Contraptions DLC was also announced. A lot of focus was put on Elder Scrolls Online and all of its future plans, and a lot of discussion about that, and most people fell asleep or overdosed on skooma during this conference, but anyway, it was just one of Bethesda's most boring times, in my opinion. Let's go back one more year to E3 2015, the most recent, latest major announcement from Bethesda Game Studios, and that was, of course, Fallout 4, which was announced and then released later that year on November 2015. Even though Bethesda told us months prior to all this that they weren't even working on Fallout. Hype for Fallout 4 pales in comparison to the current hype for Elder Scrolls 6, so imagine how huge the event will actually be when TES 6 is finally announced. Bethesda would need to hire extra people to handle all the hype. Speaking of that, I have evidence that they are actually doing this very thing, with some very specific wording in the job listings. So, seeing how Bethesda has been at the last 3 E3 events for the last 3 years, whether they had a major announcement or not, we can be positive that they probably will be at E3 2018. I've been digging and trying to find any shred of documentation or anything that can confirm this though, but so far the only companies that openly confirmed that they will be at E3 2018 was Sony, Microsoft, and Ubisoft. I am almost certain though that there is a quote or a tweet floating around somewhere in Aetherius from Pete Hines stating that Bethesda will be at E3 in 2018, but I can't seem to find it anywhere. If anyone knows what I am talking about and they can share this, I'll definitely give you a big ass shout out in a future video. And some free skooma. So anyway, we can safely assume Bethesda should be at E3 2018, but what will they show? Will they show us something major, or will they just remaster Skyrim or Fallout 4 for the garage door? Is it going to be an update to a mobile game, perhaps? I mean, it has been a while since anything major happened with Elder Scrolls Legends, but also with Elder Scrolls Online having such a huge focus and an expansion at last year's E3, I doubt ESO will get any stage time, if much at all, this year. So what in the oblivion will we see? There's already VR for both Fallout and Skyrim. They both have countless remasters. There's no technical legit reasoning for a Fallout 4 special edition, so that leaves, in my opinion, only like one topic, and that's something new. And that something new could be one of two things. The first thing could be another mobile game, which would be a bummer in my opinion, but don't worry, because I think pretty much can actually guarantee that Bethesda won't announce another mobile game, because they already have 2 active mobile games already in which they are providing support and ongoing content. Those are Fallout Shelter and Elder Scrolls Legends, like I mentioned earlier. And an update to one of those 2 mobile games wouldn't be big enough to be the main showcase at Bethesda's E3 event anyway, so that leaves what I think we will most likely see, and that is one of the 2 mysterious new games that Todd Howard himself said that they are working on, and the reason that we wouldn't see Elder Scrolls 6 for some time. These games are said to be as huge as Skyrim and are supposed to set the bar and the next level for Bethesda's future games. So they say, as you can see here. Now, all these words from Bethesda themselves alone give really good evidence that we'll get a major new game announcement from Bethesda at E3 2018. But what will it be? Will it be the mysterious Starfield? Will it be something else? And keep in mind, Bethesda previously stated that the Starfield rumor was bullshit, but also keep in mind that Bethesda have bullshitted themselves before, as I said earlier, by saying not to get hyped for Fallout 4 because it wasn't coming for a while, and then months later they not only announced it at E3, but that same year in 2015 in November they released the game. So yeah, LO fucking L Bethesda, you're always messing with our hype little hearts, but I get why you're doing it. I don't hate you for it. It's a great marketing strategy and it keeps us all wondering. Now, the last bit of evidence I have to support my theory that we could get a major announcement from Bethesda at E3 2018 is something small, but kind of super interesting. Since the new year, there have been quite a few brand new job listings put out by ZeniMax. ZeniMax is the company that oversees and basically owns Bethesda Softworks and Bethesda Game Studios. So Bethesda Softworks specifically listed a bunch of new job listings since the start of the new year. This itself doesn't mean anything, but what stands out to me are these 3 listings. The first one, and perhaps the most important one and the one that stands out the most to me, is the Events Director listing here. Event Director plans, implements, and makes strategic decisions that involve the organization's participation in domestic and international trade shows, exhibitions, and special events. Boom, right there, that sounds like freaking E3. Because Events Director, this is a major listing. This isn't like this job listing here, Events Assistant, which pretty much says you do general duties by scanning, photocopying, filing, faxing, mailing, answering the phone, and going to meetings. You're pretty much the assistant here. So they could hire a bunch of these just to help out other people, but the Events Director here is a major job. It says you need 8 years of experience, so pretty much it's a management job, and look at this, responsibilities, the very first bullet point responsibility says, and I quote directly as you can see, manages the organization's participation in trade shows, exhibitions, and special events. That just screams E3 to me. For them to be hiring an events director has to be one of two things. Their previous one quit or got fired, which I doubt because a lot of people who work for Bethesda tend to stay there for a while. And second, you wouldn't need to hire more events directors unless you're trying to expand or go bigger on what you've done already. On top of all the other stuff I said, is kind of evidence that whatever Bethesda is doing this year is larger than they've done before, because they need to hire people with 8 years of experience to direct events, trade shows, exhibitions, and other stuff. This just screams E3! E3! And then there's other job listings. Most of them are just, general big company stuff. The only other one that stands out to me is this one, the PR manager. The PR manager assists in creating and driving programs which generate positive editorial coverage for the group's business activities, policies through multiple communications, blah, 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 a lot of those corporate words. Pretty much look at this towards the end. It says the PR manager's responsibilities will include development of press releases, website content, interviews, story pitch and placement, media relations, community management, press tours, and game conventions. Also, E3 is a game convention, like I keep saying, and I don't even know why I said that. I wish I was taking screenshots and stuff of all their job listings before, because I watched this a lot, and none of these were on here until the start of the new year. E3 is a half a year away, and it seems like it would be a prime time to start hiring. If you needed new people, you'd do it now, and you wouldn't wait any longer than 6 months to get these people in here, get them some experience, get them to understand how Bethesda works internally, and get them used to Bethesda's work practices and schedules and deadlines and all that internal stuff, so that by the time E3 comes, or the pre-E3 time comes months before, they can be fully ready to go and attuned to Bethesda so that they can do their 110% for whatever's gonna happen. But anyway, you get my point about this job listing. Well, it doesn't straight up say anything, like I said before. You kind of have to research and do a bunch of digging to kind of infer what you think is coming. And while I do know that Bethesda will be at E3 based on their appearances of the last 3 years at the last E3s, I think that all these new job listings kind of prove that they're doing something larger than they've done before, and hopefully it's something awesome. So yeah, with all these powers combined, the power of Bethesda always being at E3, like I said, in the last 3 years, the fact that they themselves stated they have 2 major new games that they are working on and that will be announced soon and before Elder Scrolls 6, which Elder Scrolls is their baby, so they're going to be pushing these games out really soon. And then there's also the fact that all their other projects are at a point to where new major DLC or content wouldn't make much sense to do right now. And then these job listings which I found, which are obviously linked to some sort of large convention and may as well just say, help plan our E3 event. All this stuff, in my opinion, leads me to be super hyped for some kind of major Bethesda Game Studios announcement at this year at E3 2018. So I give you my verdict that we will get some sort of major announcement from Bethesda Game Studios, Bethesda Softworks, whatever, at E3 2018 this year. And I only say that because of all of these things I just listed. If it was just 1 or 2 of these, I wouldn't say it. If it was just a job thing, I wouldn't say this. But all this combined, just look at the track record. The train station goes right to the damn station of new game announcement coming fucking soon. Though honestly and sadly, like I said, I don't think it's going to be Elder Scrolls 6. It's going to be one of those 2 new projects, but don't get your hopes too down, because whatever it is, if it's anything like Fallout and Elder Scrolls, I know it's going to be great, even if it's glitchy. And besides, whether it's fake or not, Starfield sounds badass. And one last interesting note about E3 2018 before we wrap this up: you can attend, and you can probably see me there if you do so, because like last year, they're allowing the public in. You can buy a consumer pass for $250 before they sell out, granting you 3-day access. And if you hurry fast, you can get the early bird special for $150, $158 or something, unless those sold out. They're only selling like 1,000 or something of those, and I think they're only selling between 15 and 25,000 public access tickets, because last year 15,000 people from the public bought tickets to attend, so they're probably going to have maybe up to double that number, I'm not sure. But if you do buy one of these consumer passes, keep in mind though that there are still certain hours that E3 will only be available to those with press or industry passes. Here is the schedule so you know what those hours are, and you can plan accordingly. Like I said, I plan on being there. I'm gonna try and get a press pass, but I'll probably be at E3 all day. Samantha will be with me. It'll be awesome. But anyway, that's a video for another time. What I want to know is, what do you think we'll see from Bethesda at E3 2018? Do you think we're gonna see Elder Scrolls 6? Do you think we're gonna see Starfield? Do you think we're gonna see a game about sweet rolls? Now I need you guys to do me a really huge favor, and it actually helps me, but more importantly, it helps you guys and the Elder Scrolls community, and that is to please share this video on your Faceboobs and your Twitters, because I've seen a lot of bullshit articles about Bethesda going around, and we need to help each other to stay informed and keep the fake shit out, and keep people who are trying to keep the truth pushed up to the top. And make sure you like this video if you want to be part of Elder Scrolls Nation, the strongest Elder Scrolls community out there. And be sure you follow me on that Twitters so you can see all my twats. I try to twat daily to all you guys on my Twitters. I try to twat about future videos. I try to twat about my life. I twat about music that I'm listening to. I twat about twatting. I twat off all the twatting time. Anyway, this is kind of getting weird, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. And as always, thank you for watching.
Bye, have a great time.